Hey, I'm going to try and do this in one cut, but I wanted to do a quick tutorial on how to set up your stream's follow alerts. It's a big deal. It helps encourage more follows when somebody else sees the alert, and you can make them really cool. They, unfortunately, right out of the gate, suck completely. So this tutorial is for OBS, which is Open Broadcasting Software, Open Broadcaster Software. You're going to need the 32-bit version, and we're going to be using NightDev's follow alert, and we're going to learn a little bit about CSS and HTML, and there is a CLO browser that we'll use to make this happen. So I just want to show you guys what this looks like, or what it can look like, because I've designed my own and customized it. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and put the and preview equals true, and we'll get into all this, but I just wanted you to see what it looks like.
Oh, the eternity we shall spend together.
Alright, so that's it. It's pretty cool. I did the editing and design on all that, but I'm not going to get into how to design it. I'm going to assume that you have created an image yourself and created some sound effects yourself. This is solely going to focus on really customizing the CSS. So first things first, you need OBS. So let's get over there and check that out. OBS streaming software. I am also not going to get into my stream settings. I barely know those. But you're going to go to obsproject.com and hit the download link. And then, let's see, where's the 32-bit? So we'll hit download. And it's going to run. I'm going to hit the install. I'm not going to go all the way through this because I've already installed it. Okay, actually I've already got it running, so it's not going to want to install, but it's going to give you options. It'll actually have both versions once you open it from the folder downloaded. So you want to run the 32-bit for this. That's really key. And NightDev will talk about how that works. Okay, so next step is to go to nightdev.com and go to projects, and then down here in the bottom left, follow alert, and then go ahead and hit install for OBS. You're going to download. Once it finishes down, I'm going to go ahead and cancel it because I've got it downloaded already. Let's go check our downloads out, and then we've got CLL browser, etc. You're going to double click this. It's done. You press any key, you restart OBS if you were running it, and it'll be there. All right, so back over to NightDev. We did what he said. We hit next. And this is the new follower alert that you're given. Ignore all this. We don't care about it. We're going to be using our own image over here that I set up in Photoshop, and we've got that saved out as a ping file. So you go to alert style, use my own, and I'm just gonna your Twitch name here. That is going to be your Twitch username. So mine is WarpSpiderX, but you know, for this purpose, I'm just going to make one up real quick. So your Twitch name here. And I haven't tested this. I'm not sure if it's going to quite work or not. If it blows up, we'll switch over and I'll create another one. But okay, so then you're going to choose the image that you want. And I'm going to go to, let's see, we're at desktop, OBS, Ken, and then the follower. Here we go. Okay, so here's my follower ping file that I saved out. So I hit open, and it looks like crap. Don't worry about it. We're going to fix it. Don't worry about it. And then I'll go ahead and upload a sound that I edited before. But for the demo purposes, since we're going to be refreshing this over and over and over while we work on it, I am not going to do an audio file. So there we go. We'll hit next. It's going to give me a hosted URL. This is the URL right here. And now you can go ahead and stop messing with NightDev. We're good. Okay. So what we're about to see, we copy and paste this hosted URL into Chrome. And for this tutorial, you can use Firebug, Firefox, like all these different tools. But for this tutorial, we're going to use Chrome because I find that its DevTools are the easiest. All right. So copy and paste it in, and then you put and preview equals true. Ampersand preview equals true. Ampersand is shift 7. Now when we go here, it's going to load in and it'll fade out. Unfortunately, there is nothing that we can do about the time that it displays, or that's in JavaScript. You cannot change the fade in, fade out time. What we can do is do some pretty neat animations and slide ups and bounces and things like that. And we'll get into all that. So let me make sure I don't have to turn on like DevTools or anything like that. I don't think I do. Okay. So you're going to right click anywhere and hit inspect element. Alrighty. This is basically the anatomy of a follow alert. There is the body, which all HTML documents have. And for you guys that are uninitiated, the follow alert is just a website that you open inside of OBS, and that website does its work in the background. NightDev's done a great job about programming all that. But anyways, so let's dig in. So we've got body, then we have the div ID follower alert, and then we have div ID new follower. Those are our 3 elements, and this is what it looks like in. Let's see. Let me find that file here. We'll go to open recent div breakdown. There we go. Okay, this is what it looks like inside of like the HTML structure. Okay, so it's body, which is like everything in the background. ID. This is how we select these things in CSS, and we'll get into that. But this is how we talk to the wrapper. This is your background image. This is what you need to mess with when you need to change the width and the height, things like that. And then new follower is the text inside. Alrighty. So now that we know that, let's go ahead and find follower alert. So I just, we reloaded the page right here. We had the body was collapsed like this. We open it up, and then we see the div ID follower alert, and then it disappears, right? So the first things that you can do is over here inside the styles, you can uncheck the display none. That is CSS for invisible. And then the way CSS works is when there are overlapping rules on the same thing, the same element, the same, brick that we're trying to make pretty or style. When there are multiple rules, it takes the most important one, then the next one, then the next one. And we don't really have to get super complicated with how CSS works with specificity. And that's what that technical term is called. But what we can do is dig in right here, and I'll just teach you just what you need to know. So then you turn off display none here. All right, now we have it back, and now we can really work with this. Okay, so first things first, let's get our width and height correct, okay? So we're going to do a lot of work here inside of Chrome, but once we don't refresh while you're working. Okay, you need to come back to this later and look at it again. It's not the end of the world, but you're just gonna have to do all your math again later on. So, but the first things we do is we get everything right here in the browser, and then we come and we go over to OBS and put all the settings in. Alrighty. So we go down to new follower alert, and there's a width. You click on that size right there, and then you need to make it match your image width. So let's go. I'll show you guys how to check your image width as well. So let's go check out our image in our Explorer. Let's see, Kin, and then we'll go down to Kin is my name, by the way. Hello world. And then we'll go down to follower ping, and you go to properties. Right click properties, and then go over to details, and there's our dimensions right there. 1096 pixels wide. The first number is always width, by 507 pixels tall. So let's go ahead and put those numbers in. And this is great when you're doing it in Chrome because you can see it happen, so you know if you're getting it right or not. So 1096 and px at the end is pixels in CSS. Then what was the next number? 507 pixels. 507 pixels. All right, now we can see our whole entire element here. This is great. This is exactly kind of what we're trying to get to. Alrighty, so now we need to get this guy here managed, okay? So the next thing is go ahead and find him, and if you guys remember, in our breakdown here, new follower is nested inside of follower alert, and new follower is our text. So we go find new follower, see right here, new follower, and we click on that to select it, and it's got lots of extra stuff, okay? So up inside of element style, I'm going to go ahead and override a lot of their CSS that they give us. And what I like to do is reset everything to start from a clean slate on styling the text. It's not necessary 100%, but it does help us get a really clean slate. So we've got a lot of margin, we've got padding, we've got line heights, like all these things that we don't want to deal with when we're trying to measure where we want this text to go. So I go ahead and knock the padding out. So padding 0 pixels, and that's shorthand. And then you don't really have to know what that means, and that's okay. But padding 0 pixels goes ahead and kills all of our padding, and you saw it move there. So let's take a look here. So this is, see how far down it is? I don't want to deal with that when I'm trying to measure out the exact measurements. It's a lot easier just to put it where it needs to be. So 0 pixels, and then we'll do margin 0 pixels. All right, now it is exactly at the top left of where it needs to be. Let's see. Yeah, it's all right. And then now just so we can see it better, because it's got a width and a height and all that stuff on it, I'm gonna go ahead and add a background color. So background colon, and I'm moving my cursor over like that to start past the colon by hitting tab when I get to the word that I want. So let me show you again. Background, and I can hit tab, or I can do background colon, and it'll move me automatically. Okay, guys? You'll pick it up when you start playing with it. Just tinker around with it, and that's what a lot of CSS learning is just playing with things. So okay, so background, and we'll put red on it. So now we see the whole thing. That's the entire element. Okay, so that is our new follower width and text element right there. That's the entire thing. Okay, so I like to use a tool in Windows called Pixel. Let's see, ruler. A ruler for Windows. Google it. It's a great tool, but it helps you just kind of measure out what the width needs to be on things. So we'll grab this here, and I want my text to always be in between these two sides on my hookers overlay. Okay, guys. So we know now right here, this green number is 414 pixels. So we're gonna go down here and we're gonna do width 414 pixels. Great. All right. Now there's a few ways to position things in CSS, And what we're going to do is use absolute positioning. This basically means that from the top left corner of our red box, we are going to move it from the top down and left over from the top left corner of the entire screen. Okay. So we go over here and we do position absolute. All right, now he's prepped. You won't really see anything happen until you start telling it what to do. So we'll do top 400 pixels. Nope, too far. So we'll do 200 pixels, and this is why this rocks to do it in Chrome. It's not quite centered. I want it vertically centered inside my black box. So I'm going to do 150. Nope. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to manually, like, lightly adjust this with the up key on my keyboard. So there we go. Okay, great. I like that. And then left. So we're telling it, I want you to leave the left edge this many pixels, right? So left, and then we'll start with like 300 pixels. And we'll get our ruler out of the way. All right, so 300 pixels isn't quite where we need it. So I'm doing that up key again. I'm just watching it drift across the screen. Boom. Okay, that's a little far. Yeah, no, that looks good. All right, great. Okay. Now we're done. Now we don't want to refresh this page. We don't want to touch it. Now what we want to do is come over to OBS and kind of repeat all this work where it's a lot less friendly for you to play with. We do it in Chrome, even though it's not going to save and it's not permanent, because we can really move it around without doing a lot of refreshing and tinkering and things like that. Okay, so we're going to take this URL and we're going to copy it. And we're going to go over to OBS. So this is my OBS. And let me go ahead and hide the ruler. Yep, exit. All right. Okay. So I'll release a tutorial later about how I do, like, you know, my music and my chat and things like that. But for today, we just want to focus on new follows. So what I like to do is, because I have a lot of different screens. I have one for the client, one for the loading window, so it's shrunk down, one for when I'm in the game, and then I have a webcam here, but I've turned it off because Camtasia doesn't like me using both cameras. It can't use both sources. I have a B-rate back, and then I go ahead and put a couple videos in there. And then I've got a, hey, we're starting soon with a countdown. So right at the beginning, I'll go ahead and turn this on and set it up so that, you know, I've got about 15 minutes to prep while I set up my audio, or just do a little bit of hype, let everybody kind of get in the room before we start. And then I've got like a, you know, everything scene. So I have lots of scenes, and you probably will too by the time you get going. You're going to want to do different things. So what's great for this is using a global source. So global sources basically are a bunch of stored pieces of content or sources in the left here, or in the right. It's a bunch of stored sources that you can just right click and add, and it's got all your settings saved. And then if it's in multiple scenes, you can edit it in one place and it will update everywhere else. It's really powerful. It's really good to use. And I just don't see a lot of tutorials talk about it. So I highly recommend doing a global source. So we're going to go to add, and we're going to go down to add CLR browser. Okay. And we'll do follower alert tutorial. Great. All right. Here we're going to paste our URL in, and remembering to do ampersand preview equals true. That way we can force it to show up anytime we want. And then let's go ahead and let's just go ahead and show what it looks like. We're going to set the width and the height to our image settings. This is important before you do any CSS work. It needs to be set here. And so our image settings, remember our follower alert div, it's got those. So 1096, 1096. All right. And by 507. Okay, great. And when we hit OK, it's going to show it immediately. This is your refresh button from your browser, is the OK button. It took me a little figuring out to do that, to figure that out. So it's going to look like crap though, guys. Just a heads up. All right. So it should pop up. Oh, we have to add it to the screen. Okay, so all we did there was added a global source. You'll see it down here, follower tutorial, and hit OK. So now to apply that, we go here and we add global source, and now you see all of our custom stuff. There's our follower alert tutorial. That's all we have to do to add it somewhere. And you can give it a name, but it sets it up for you here. So I hit OK. Because I went ahead and added that, there it is up here in the top left. So we're going to go ahead and edit the scene. And a really quick way to do this is to position and size. And if you hit center, it's going to automatically position it in the center of the screen for you. That's kind of what I want. So let's make that show up again. So you double click that, which you are now editing the global source. So it changes everywhere. And then you hit OK. And there it is again. It showed up, but none of our CSS is right. All that work we did in Chrome is still in Chrome because I haven't refreshed the page yet, but it is not here in the CLR browser. Okay, so let's open it up and go to CSS. All right, and this is everything they give you, which is absolutely nothing. So we have to do all the manual typing here ourselves, but it's easy because we already did it all in the Chrome. So remember again, this is our structure. We're going to talk to pound follow dash alert and pound new dash follower. Those are the IDs because they have the pound here. And that's how we talk to those individual elements on the page. So we're going to go over to our CSS in Chrome, and in Chrome, when you hover the divs, like the individual elements on the HTML, it shows you kind of what you're doing by lighting it up in blue, right? Okay, so follower alert. All right, we did some work over here. This is all set for us. So we did width and height on that guy. This CSS is already written for, so we're gonna have to rewrite it over here in OBS. So this is how you do it over in OBS, and it's great if you tab back and forth because it'll leave your CSS up right here, and you can just retype it. All right, so number follower dash alert. CSS always has an open. I like to call them squirrely brackets. I know I'm gonna get criticized by real programmers, but I call them squirrely brackets. It's a lot more fun that way. Open squirrely bracket, close squirrely bracket. Always open close first. Tabbing all this stuff that I'm doing to make it pretty doesn't really matter, but I strongly encourage you to do that. So I tab over and then I hit width 1096 pixels, height 507 pixels. Okay. We have to do one more thing because this CSS is overriding CSS on the website that we're loading in. We have to be more important than the CSS on the website. So we have to add inside of this, after the PX, just before the colon, we hit space, bang, exclamation point, important. And we put that on everything that we want to change. All right, so let's check it again. Let's hit OK. Let's hit our refresh button and hit OK. There we go. Look, now we're really close to where we want to be. All right. So let's go back into the CSS because we need to get the text right. So we go over to our Chrome browser and we hit the ID new follower. Okay. Oh, sorry guys. Over to new follower, and we see up here in element.style everything that we've done. Okay, so over here, let's go in and we'll go back to our CSS. All right, and the number new dash follower is the next thing that we want to edit. Alrighty, so we're gonna do now margin left, font size. That was already there for us. Okay. we want to override that. So we're going to do margin 0 pixels, and again, bang important, because we want it more important than the website CSS. We do padding 0 pixels, bang important. And guys, in real CSS, this is horrible to do, but in things like this, it gets the job done. It is basic. We are basically hitting the CSS with a sledgehammer, and CSS is really more of a graceful sort of thing you want to take care of. But here we're going to hit it with sledgehammer because we have no choice. All right. We don't want background red. We want width 414 pixels. Bang important. We want position absolute, and it may not be necessary, but just in case, bang important. We want top 183 pixels, bang important. And we want left 438 pixels, bang important. Okay, so now we should have a really, yeah, there we go, really custom alert here. And it would play the audio file if we had uploaded one, but we didn't, so we're good on that. All right. Okay, so let's get a little bit more advanced, because if you know, let me show you what my current one does, because I've done a little bit more, and you probably saw that earlier. So I'll do and preview equals true in the URL. I'll hit OK.
Oh, the eternity we shall spend together.
So I've got different font size. I've got a bigger font size, and it slides up, right? So that's great, but we have to do a little bit more work to our follower alert, which is quite plain on this one. It just fades in. It's got regular old Arial. It's just not that sexy. So first things first, let's change the font family to something really crazy. And let's go ahead and make the font bigger. It really deserves to be much bigger. So we'll open up our CSS here because we're going to come right back to it in a second. All right, so to embed fonts that are nuts, the fastest, easiest way, I think, is to use Google Fonts. So I want to just scroll. You can still have hundreds of fonts, like just so many fonts. And you can just see, you know, all these fonts here. So google.com/fonts. Let's go with Lobster. That's pretty neat. I personally went with a different one, but for this demo, I want to show you guys, you know, from the beginning, a totally, you know, customized follower alert. So we hit the quick use. When we scroll down, we actually need to go to this URL right here, in between these two ticks right here. So HTTP fonts, googleapis.com, CSS, family equals whatever the family you've chosen is. Here, in this case, it's Lobster, and you stop there. Don't let up off of your click, because it's got this JavaScript in there that's all set up for you. So I like to click, drag, my finger never lets up, and I hit Control-C to copy that URL. Okay. Now when I let go, it's fine. I've got it stored in my clipboard. I'm going to hit a new tab, and then I'm going to go over to that URL. It's going to dump out what I need to put in my style sheet. Okay. So select all of this and go to the top of our CSS and paste it on in. Okay. All right, cool. This word right here, that's what we need to pay attention to, okay? So back over to Google Fonts, we go to integrate the fonts into your CSS, step 4, font family. We're gonna copy and paste that. And remember, this is our text, new follower. So we go inside of new follower here, and we paste that in, and we hit OK. We should see, oh, we forgot bang important. All right, so we got to hit it with a sledgehammer. Let's go ahead and do that again, and we'll go bang important. There we go. There we go. And now it's just this gorgeous, cool, like old-timey font, okay? So let's make the font bigger. This one, we still have to hit with a sledgehammer for sure. So inside of new follower, new line, and we'll go to font-size. And I don't know, let's start with like massive. Let's go 120 pixels. And we'll hit bang important to hit it with a sledgehammer. And that's way too big because my name is Warp Spider X and it is huge. It's going to fill that whole thing. So we need to provide room for larger, longer names while still being large. Okay. So over to CSS and scroll down, and inside of font size, let's go ahead and change it to like, that was pretty close. Let's drop like 30 pixels off of that. Now, a lot of guesswork here for you guys making your own. Maybe you don't want yours as big. I mean, mine is 1,000 pixels wide. So a lot of people don't want to cover their whole screen with this. So you're going to have to play with the font size yourself. But for this demo, we're using a big O one. So 90 pixels should get it done. I like that a lot. We should be really good there. All right, cool. So now we've got a really sexy font. We've got this custom graphic. We've got everything that we need. So now let's do some animations. Okay, now this is going to get a touch more complicated, but there's a pretty great way to do this. So animate.css, I will put this link in the description, but animate.css is a really cool CSS3 animation set of code that you can just copy and paste. It's going to take some finessing from us, but I'll show you how to do that. But it's got all these different options, right? So we want to bounce it. So we hit animate, and it bounces, right? Really all the good ones for us, because we can't control the fade in, etc., is going to be entrances. So bouncing entrances, fading entrances. Some of these are pretty crazy, like light speed in, rotate out. It's pretty fun. You can flip it. Just all kinds of stuff. So let's do something a little bit simpler though. So let's do a fading entrance. So we're going to do that's actually what I use in my setup. No, let's do BounceIn. Let's do that. Let's do BounceIn. So all right, we dig that. Okay, cool. So down here, view it on GitHub. We're going to click that link. And let's see, you're going to go to source up here at the top. You're going to go to bouncing entrances and then BounceIn.css. Awesome. All right, cool. So this is the code that you need. You're going to have to change this, and it's going to be a little bit tough because he's got it written in such a way that it is not browser specific. However, OBS is browser specific, and we don't have all the niceties that he has here in his project. But so I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to go over here and we're going to copy the @ keyframes chunk. Okay, so squirrely brace to squirrely brace down here, right? It takes a little bit of getting used to, but squirrely braces and closed squirrely braces nest the code. We want all the way to the bottom. See .BounceIn, we don't want that yet. So we want this piece here. We're going to put that at the top of our CSS. So go back over to CSS. You really can put this anywhere, but I like to have it at the top. So @ keyframes, it's called BounceIn. Okay. Now, because we are in the WebKit browser inside of OBS, we need to put -WebKit- in front of the keyframes. It's just so that WebKit knows to use this. The next thing that's going to be tough for you guys is that these first red properties, sometimes those are going to need them, sometimes they're not. So this has opacity, it says transform. Opacity does not need it. Transform does need it. This is important. There is a great way to find out what code you need if it's not working. So let's go ahead and leave this just like it is, because I haven't told you how to know what properties need or don't need the -WebKit- in front of it. Okay, so we're going to leave it like it is, and we're going to go ahead and apply it. So follower alert, it gets the animation. That is our div that bounces in, right? That is our big background graphic. So, and I actually need to look this up. Oh, here we go, right here. Now, at the bottom of every single one of these examples, there's going to be the .name. You don't want that class right there. You only want this piece here, animation-name BounceIn, okay? So we're going to go ahead and add that here. And again, we need to do dash WebKit dash in front of it, all right? So that is our BounceIn, all right? And it didn't do it, right? So now, okay, everybody's going to run into this when they try this on their own. This is how you track down what CSS3 property you need. So let's open it up. Let's look at our CSS. Let's look at our animation. Let's go ahead and do, let's say, transform is our culprit. Okay, let's just take a guess. And this is pretty much what you're going to have to learn. Like, this is how a lot of us learn, to be honest. But CSS3 transform WebKit. Okay, that's what you're going to Google. And we're going to go to CSS3 2D transforms. And there we go right here. So -ms, that's for Microsoft's, -WebKit, that's for our browser, Chrome, Safari, Opera. And then transform is for all the same browsers that don't need this stuff. So you'll see here, yes, in fact, I do need to do -WebKit dash in front of my transforms. So we'll go back over here and we'll say, all right, now we've identified that we have to do that. Let's do -WebKit dash. And let's copy and paste that so it's a little bit faster. All right. -WebKit dash, -WebKit dash, and -WebKit dash. Now we're done. All of our transforms are taken care of. Okay, so now we should be able to see it. Oh, and no, we have to add some more stuff. I just heard an alert. Let me make sure this is still recording. Okay, we're still recording. Yeah, cool. Okay, sorry guys. Let's look up one more thing because I just don't remember this stuff off the top of my head. I don't work with WebKit animations much anymore. All right, so we're gonna do WebKit. Actually, if you put the minus in front of it, Google will explode. So you want WebKit dash animation. And we're going to go over here to CSS3 schools. I'll put this link in the description. I want to scroll all the way down. There's a great example that I can just copy and paste or kind of just look at. And that is right here. It's got all the properties exploded out. Okay. So I want to do -WebKit dash animation name BounceIn -WebKit dash animation duration. We'll do 2 seconds, 2s dash WebKit dash animation dash iteration dash count. That's how many times it will repeat. We're going to do 1. And then we should be ready to go after that. Let's make sure. All right, let's hit OK. There we go. And then it zooms in, does its thing. All right, let's pick a new one, okay? Just so you guys know, how to play around with this stuff, all right? Alrighty. Let's play with it even further. That was kind of like sluggish, right? Like that didn't feel exciting at all. So let's go over here and do, we'll do like 1 second. Boom. That felt pretty good. That one was great. All right, cool. All right, so let's go back over to our source tree here, and we'll do let's do a flipper. Let's do a flipper. Flippin X, and of course we can go to the Animate CSS origin here, and we can look at the flippers. So let's do Flippin X. That wasn't exciting at all. Let's do something dramatic like a flip, okay? All right, so flip CSS. All right, so again, we grab all of our keyframes, all right? All of our keyframes. And we go over to OBS, double click, go to the CSS. We will wipe this whole thing out. Now you will always have to put -webkit- in front of the keyframes. You know that. We also just learned that -webkit- transform needs it. My guess right now is that animation timing function is going to need it as well. -webkit-. And let me copy and paste this. So we'll do that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. One more time. That and that. All right. Now then, there's the name, flip. So we go back down here to our follower alert, and we change the name -webkit- animation -name to flip. All right. So we get that shot. Hit OK. Whoa, that was intense. Also, because we have a fade-in delay, we can go over to our great example and look at, let's see, WebKit animation delay. So we can wait now and for the fade-in to complete, and we can do something really fun and crazy, right? Like this thing is. We don't want people to like miss it, you know? So let's start with just the 2 seconds that it gave us. And flip. That was a little long. So let's go ahead and change it to 1 second. All right, maybe it's like 0.75 seconds. So we'll go with 0.75 seconds. Oh, yeah. We're getting closer. Let's see. And this is a lot of what CSS is. You're just playing around. So let's go with 0.5 seconds. Boom. All right, cool. So that's our crazy flip, right? Let's do something a little bit more sane. A lot of people on Reddit, when I posted a comment about this stuff, were requesting just a fade in and slide up. So let's go back over to our animations and we'll do, let's see, fading entrances, fade in up, slides up. Is there something better? Slide in. Here we go. Slide in down, slide in left, slide in right, slide in out, slide out, up. No, we want slide in. Oh, they don't have a slide in. Huh. Well, we can do it from the top down. What is a hinge? Let's see that. That's crazy. Roll in? That's kind of neat too. But anyways, all right. Slide in down. Let's go with that. All right, so we go back over here. We hit back a couple times. Let's go to source up here. We'll go to, let's see, sliders. And, oh, here's slide in up right here. It just wasn't on the website. Slide in up is what I want. That's actually what I'm using on my alert. So we'll do slide in. And it's cool, you know, because now over on our CSS, we've actually figured out how long the fade in delay is. So now I think we can take the delay out and it'll still look really cool, but it's just up to you guys. So I'm going to replace our keyframes with the new keyframes. And again, we want to do -webkit-, and we have learned that transform needs the -webkit-. So we'll do -webkit- and -webkit-. All right, and we're done. Okay, and slide in up is the new name. So we go down here to WebKit animation name and slide in up. All right, and we hit OK. And that's not going to work because we have that delay, right? So we want to go over to our CSS and turn the delay off. So we'll just do 0 so we can keep the code there. 0 seconds. Boom. There we go. All right, cool. So now it slides in. It can get a little bit more complicated, but that's about as far as I can really go in this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I stream regularly, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll be looking for questions to come through YouTube and the Reddit post that I'll put up about this video. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys later.